This video is dedicated to my two children, Anudveg and Svasa Anudveg, both of whom are very sensible. The existence of God has been debated for centuries. Today, we're taking a unique approach, using logic to estimate the probability of God's existence. We begin at a neutral 50%, a starting point that reflects the equal weight of belief and skepticism in the absence of empirical evidence. From this 50% starting point, we estimate the probability of God's existence based on the following increasing and decreasing factors. The first factor to consider is the problem of evil and injustice, widespread and pervasive suffering, particularly episodes of unexplained and unjust pain and torture, fill the human heart with despair and lead to the feeling that God might not exist. This grave injustice reduces the probability of God's existence by 20 to 30%, bringing our new range to 20 to 30%. The second factor to consider is the depth of religious texts. The advanced knowledge within these texts and the astonishing accuracy about things like astronomy and geography suggest that their source may be a higher power. Many of the things mentioned in these texts should have been beyond the realm of human knowledge at the time they were written. This increases the probability of God's existence by 5 to 10%, raising our estimate to 25 to 40%. Third factor, the contradiction between the concept of God and scientific principles. God is often considered omnipotent, actively involved in the vast workings of the universe. But these divine activities would require immense energy. Where does God get this energy? The existence of an afterlife, which is deeply connected to belief in God, raises similar questions. How do souls survive without energy? How do they move? And at what speed? Satisfactory answers to these fundamental questions are lacking. Therefore, science and logic present significant obstacles. The concept of God seems to conflict with the scientific laws of energy conservation. This factor reduces our estimate by 10 to 15%, bringing the new range to 15 to 25%. Fourth factor, the rarity of life. The rarity of life and the precise conditions required for it suggest the possibility of divine intervention, increasing the probability by 5 to 10%, bringing us to 20 to 35%. Fifth factor, religious institutions and religious conflicts. Religious institutions, which are meant to guide us toward divinity, are often filled with deep corruption and evil. Scandals involving abuse, corruption, and exploitation are all too common. But the harm doesn't stop there. History is full of conflicts between followers of different faiths, wars, persecution, and terrorism, all driven by religious intolerance. These conflicts have caused immense human suffering and pain. This reduces the probability of God's existence by 15 to 20%, lowering it to a new range of 5 to 15%. Sixth factor, the unparalleled richness of religious stories. The richness and depth of religious stories are difficult to dismiss as mere imagination. These stories are not only part of our cultural heritage, but their hidden meanings and symbolism are also unique. The unparalleled richness of religious stories adds 5% to the overall probability of God's existence, bringing the range to 10 to 20%. Seventh factor, human consciousness and moral intuition. Human consciousness and moral intuition seem to go beyond evolutionary explanations. These two unique human qualities increase the probability by 10 to 15%, bringing the final probability to 20 to 35%. So, after completing this exercise, the probability of God's existence comes out to 20 to 35%. This is not a definitive answer, but it's a reasoned approach to a timeless question. You can use these factors to determine different percentages and estimate your own probability. You can also edit these factors or create new ones and assign percentages to them. Overall, share your process and final percentage, or your own factors, process, and resulting percentage by commenting below. Everyone will benefit from your comment.